guys, Ray here, City Fan TV. Hope you're all doing very well. I'm in my little dressing room at a theatre in Birmingham today, Sunday morning, after that dreadful performance against Southampton. Overall, I think it was a dreadful performance on Saturday, earning us a 0-0 draw, jeopardising that Champions League spot. Part of me thinks maybe, I don't think we deserve Champions League. We've been awful for most parts of this season. And partly will give the powers that be a kick up the backside. I think City got, I can't remember the actual number, was it 79 million euros from the Champions League this season? Not making it next season will knock us back significantly. I think Man United and Spurs have got something like 30 odd million, 38, 39 million euros to get to the final. One's going to pick up a few million in the winner's check there. But City dropping out of the Champions League is worth a lot of money. Dropping out as early as we did, I mean, whatever we got, if we end up in the Europa League, that's going to be something like 40 to 50 million euros at a minimum less. That is going to have an impact. Yes, you can survive out of the Champions League for a year, possibly two, but it is going to have an impact on future deals. It's obviously has an impact on revenue, has an impact on the players you can buy as FFP is changing, how much you can spend on wages. It's going to make it actually will make a huge difference in my opinion. If you've got 50 million euros less coming in, or 40 million, you can spend 20 or 25 or 30 million less euros on players' wages. So it's going to have an impact. And as I forgot the guy's name, the Arsenal fan, Claude, as he used to say, it's time to go. And Pep, if ever there was a match that showed you it's time to go, it was yesterday. I've had people saying it was the worst City performance they've seen under Pep. We saw Pep again make some crazy decisions. If ever there was a game to have two dribbling wide men, yesterday's was the game. When Doku came in at half-time, look at the difference he made. Immediately, he was taking people on. They had to double team him. So when they double teamed him, someone else was free. Sometimes I remember KDB was free because when he was on that side, because of Doku, he had two men, sometimes three men on him. That leaves somebody else available. And Doku was still taking those men on. Didn't succeed every time, but he's had the most successful dribbles of any player apparently in the Premier League, which is fantastic. It's a great, as I said, he's not successful every time, but he changed that game. Savinho, not as successful. He's not been playing as much when he came on the right, but he still offers a threat. He stretches the game, and we saw the game stretch. We didn't have as much control as we did in the first half, but the first half was boring. We created virtually nothing. Passing it around, it was pointless. It's boring football. I call it paint by numbers football. It's soulless, uninteresting. Yeah, there's no personality to it, just passing it around, waiting for them to make a mistake rather than making something happen and forcing them to make a mistake. We're trying to bore teams into errors. You can look and say we've won, loads of games on the banks, but look, we've been so lucky. The Villa game when Núñez scored at the end. So lucky in Palace game, we could have been 3-0 down. We come back to win that. So lucky to be where we are. People keep thinking we turned the corner. We certainly haven't. And that was emphasised yesterday with Pep. For me, as much as I've criticised Núñez, okay, I would rather have had Núñez on the right than Rico Lewis. Because I just think Núñez has got more pace. He can go forward. He can cross it. Lewis can't do that. Okay, I would have loved to start with Savinho. We had Bernardo. He tried his best, but he had him on the right. He had him in the middle. Did he end up at fullback at the end? At right back? It's crazy. Nico O'Reilly. Why didn't you start Nico O'Reilly? I just don't understand that. The guy's been doing well. You need some width. You need a guy who can get into dangerous areas, take people on, put crosses in. You didn't have him. Doku. You didn't start with Doku. That's just. It really does blow my mind that the players that I think could have made a difference yesterday, Pep decided not to have them start the game. Omar Mamouche, I don't think he's yet as good as people are screaming that he's a success. from the January signings. He'd be the only one. But personally, I think he's missing too many chances. So, but he's still has the ability to create, and we didn't have Omar Mamush. Gundogan, I can understand. You got a bit fine Pep lose him out, but all those players, and should have, in my opinion, probably most of them should have started, because that's a game where what Southampton are going to do. They're going to be all behind the ball, and they're going to look to hit us on the break. Now, putting those other players in, it opens them up. They've got everybody behind the ball. You need to open them up. If we want to get behind them, that's what you need to do. And Pep went crazy. He has these brain farts, these crazy decisions. And yesterday, it could have cost us. It could cost us a Champions League spot, because obviously now everybody's going to bunch up. Villa are within, I think, one win of us. Everybody's within one win. If Forest win their game in hand, they'll be within one win of us. We've got, is it Bournemouth at home and Fulham away? Potentially, we might need to win possibly both games, or at least get 4 points from those two games. It's not easy. Fulham are chasing, all right, they messed up against, was it Everton? I think Fulham are chasing a European spot, and Bournemouth are chasing a European spot as well. So they're not going to roll over and die for us. And Southampton, bottom of the league, have they let in 80 goals this season? It's crazy. Yeah, they've kept 2 clean sheets this season. One is against us, and that I blame Pep. And that's what concerns me going forwards. Is Pep going to carry on making these crazy decisions? Is he the right man to turn us around? The board are reluctant to get rid of him, but again and again and again, we go back to this pathetic, boring football. As I said, if you're winning games, you accept it, but when you're not, and we play so terribly, we were obviously much better in the second half. We had a few decent chances, but we should have started the first half like that, like a house on fire, put the pressure on. Doku did start, he would have carried on doing that. And yeah, we offered nothing in that first half at all, and it was just terrible watch. We watched people, even at the game, didn't want to watch it. I mean, it was that bad. So guys, let me know. Every few weeks, you ask this question. When you think we started to turn the corner, Pep throws in something stupid. It's not genius. As I said before, the line between genius and stupidity sometimes is very, very thin. And Pep, sometimes, he straddles that line. So sometimes when it works, he's a genius, and when it doesn't, he's a fool. And yesterday was very foolish indeed. So guys, let me know, what do you think? Is it time for Pep to get out of Manchester City? Guys, if you're new to the channel, it would be fantastic if you could subscribe. If you can hit that bell icon, you'll be notified as soon as new videos come out. We'll see you around, Blues.